Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We are a peaceful people, struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know, we gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere, make no mistake. Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, daytime or night. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We are a peaceful people, struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know, we gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere, make no mistake. Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one crush, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right, so we ain't giving up no more. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one crush, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river
Okay.
that belongs.
1, 2, 3.
Not one blue sake,
Welcome
not one rice grain,
once again.
not one
Welcome to the fourth
not a blade of
debate in this second Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. A good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, judges. This morning we watched the Anna Regina Youth Group compete against the Cast Talent Management Youth Group in the third debate of the competition. And the Cast Talent Management Youth Group won the debate and is now proceeding to the quarterfinals round. Cast was eliminated last year in the first round. Today, for this fourth debate this afternoon, we have three esteemed judges. Ms. Indrani Chandrapal, the Chief Judge. She is the chairperson of the Women and Gender Equality Commission and was elected as the president of the Inter-American Commission of Women, serving from 2001 to 2003. She was a member of parliament for 27 years and a two-term minister of government. During that period, she served as the Minister of Human Services and Social Security and chaired many new parliamentary committees. Our next judge is the popular personality, Mr. Mia Suhan, a past student of St. Joseph's High School, the Bishop's High School, and the University of Guyana, Faculty of Natural Sciences. Niaz served as a member of parliament from 1997 to 2001. He has 30 years experience in media in various capacities, has been a television and radio host, and he is famous for hosting the iconic Guyana Today program for more than 10 years. He currently is Chief Executive Officer of the National Communications Network. He has also some 35 years in the field of theater, filmmaking, as an actor, producer, writer. He is also a cultural actor. Our third judge today is Mrs. Monet Garner Christopher. Mrs. Garner Christopher is the Administrative Officer of the Parliament Office. She started her career at Queen's College as a teacher of economics. Thereafter, she joined Parliament as the Expenditure Planning and Management Analyst too. Ms. Garner Christopher holds a master's degree in business administration and a Bachelor of Social Sciences degree in economics. He has participated in several in-club and inter-club speech contests through the Cacique Toastmasters Club. She served there as an executive member. Today, our teams are the Particle Youth Group and the Berbice Development Youth Group. Joining and welcoming the Bartica Youth Group for the first time to the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. Bartica, a very hearty welcome to you. The Bartica Youth Group was established by Mr. Erwin Ward on the 20th of March 2020. The objective of the group is to resuscitate Bartica's culture through song, dance, poetry, elocution, debating, and sport, among others. The group has held several exhibitions and competitions to showcase and unearth and discover talent that was dormant within the Bartica Township. Notwithstanding the main focus, since its formation, the group has assisted with voluntary work throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. The first speaker will be Shania Straker, 18 years old from Bartica. Their second speaker is Carlita Williams, 32 years old. I hope no relation to Carletta. Here. From Kotaro, Road Bartica, and the third speaker is Kalia Murray, 17 years old from 4 Miles, Bartica. The opposing team is the Berbice Development Youth Group. Returning for the second time, the Berbice Development Youth Group is created so young people in Region 5 can pool their resources, their knowledge, so that they can improve their community and assist other youth. The youth gain experiences in social skills and have access to a pool of knowledge in which opportunities for further educational and career opportunities can be achieved. Their first speaker will be Ms. Chetmanti Randial, 23-year-old from the Edward Village, West Coast Demerara. Second speaker, Mr. Taku Singh, 18 years old, also from the Edward Village. And the third speaker is Ralta Subrin, 18 years old, from the Edward Village. The mood today, Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory. I now declare this debate open and call on the first speaker for the proposition, Ms. Shania Straker of the Bartica Youth Group, to take the floor. Shania?
Patient timekeeper, shrewd members of the opposition, fellow knowledgeable members of the proposition, attentive audience, good afternoon to all. It is with great honor that I, Shania Straker, first speaker of the proposition, commence my team argument in agreement with the mood that reads, and I quote, Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory, end of quote. I will be approaching this mood from an economic point of view. Attentive audience, before I venture deeply into my speech, let me try and bring clarity to your listenership by defining the key terms and phrase in the mood. Oil and gas industry, according to Cambridge University, the process of exploration, extraction, refining, transportation, and marketing of petroleum products. Green economy, according to the United Nations, an economy that aims in improving human well-being while reducing environmental risks, also aims for sustainable development, not, according to the Oxford Dictionary, used in statements to suggest that the opposite of the following word is true. Contradictory, according to the Oxford Dictionary, mutually opposed or inconsistent. With this definition, I shall now redefine mood. The processing of petroleum products while reducing environmental risk and aiming towards sustainable development is compatible in Guyana. Honorable judges, the oil and gas sector and the green economy can work hand in hand, which will lead towards sustainable development. Remember, the green economy is not only environmentally focused, but also focuses on citizens and development of their country. So far, isn't the oil and gas evidently doing so? The process of extracting and using the byproducts of oil requires hundreds, if not thousands of people. The industry built around oil drilling and oil itself creates jobs in a wide number of industries. The immediate benefit is job creation and economic boost. According to Chronicle News, February 27, 2022, ExxonMobil hiring more Guyanese to complete the construction of new Exxon office. The oil and gas company told Chronicles, and I quote, while we have close to 200 Guyanese working on the initial phase of the project, an additional 200 locals are needed to complete the project. End of quote. Altogether, 400 Guyanese will acquire jobs, helping to mitigate the level of unemployment in our country, thus reducing poverty, which is a main focus in the green economy. Mr. Speaker, this is just a small fraction of the oil company mandated plan for Guyana. Back in 2019, dated July 15, Starbuck News wrote an article on the amount of persons hired by ExxonMobil, and I quote, 4 years after it made its first discovery in Guyana, ExxonMobil said that their contractors have created over 1,200 new jobs for locals, with over 200 of them being women. End of quote. There is no need for me to go on about the endless amount of job opportunities the oil industry has created. For sophisticated members of the opposition, the oil industry is reducing Guyana's unemployment level. Hundreds of citizens out there are depending on the company for their daily income. And you're telling me that the industry contradicts the green economy? The main focus is the well-being of mankind. For CPN adjudicators, major reduction in unemployment level in Guyana is boosting our country's economy. The main focus of the green economy. Model of economic and social progress. Chronicle News, April 11, 2022. And I quote, Guyana's economy has recorded the highest economic growth rate in Latin America and in the Caribbean. This disclosure was made by the World Bank. According to their projections, we are estimated to grow 47.5% at the end of the year because of our production. End of quote. Highest growing economy in the Caribbean and is expected to grow even more because of our production. Mr. Speaker, the oil industry is building our country in a sustainable way that is benefiting all citizens. My worthy opposition, do not be tricked. With this, I must say, the oil and gas industry and the green economy is not contradictory. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Ms. Shania Strieger from the Bartica Youth Group. And now straight to the first speaker for the opposing team, the Burmese Development Youth Group, Ms. Chetwanti Ramdial. Ms. Ramdial, the floor is yours.
Honorable Mr. Speaker, distinguished judges, misguided members of the proposition, and viewers all, a pleasant afternoon. Lend me your ears as I, Chetwanti Ramdial, first speaker of the opposition, stand firmly against the move. Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory. Indeed, they are. As the first speaker, I will be discussing how the oil and gas industry destroys the environment, while the green economy aims to conserve and protect it. My second speaker, Mr. Thakur Singh, will be discussing the unsustainability of the oil and gas industry versus the green economy's aim for sustainable development. To conclude, my third speaker, Ms. Alalta Sagrin will be discussing the high-risk short-term and increasingly unpopular nature of the oil and gas industry versus the green economy, increasingly popular long-term goal. Before I proceed with my argument, allow me to define the most key terms. First being the oil and gas industry, according to Law Insider, is an industry focused on the exploration to the selling of hydrocarbons. Next is the green economy. The green economy, according to United Nations Economic and Environmental Program, is defined as low carbon, resource efficient, socially inclusive. It is an economy that aims in reducing environmental risks and ecological services. Finally, contradictory. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, applies to anything that are in contrast or in conflict with. Mr. Speaker, from these definitions, you can have an understanding as to why the oil and gas industry and the green economy are contradictory. The destruction of the environment by the oil and gas industry directly contributes to water pollution, which significantly impacts marine life. Oil spills in the water are detrimental to its inhabitants. This has a ripple effect on consumers who depend on the sea for survival. Oil and gas development also threatens our waterways and groundwater. In terms of extraction or transport, there can be spills in the water which can pollute water sources and jeopardize the future of the entire ecosystem. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, the green economy aims to enhance and conserve the environment by emphasizing in investments that rely upon the use of natural resources, ecosystem services, which provides more job opportunities and also safeguarding the fresh water of the ecosystem. Mr. Speaker, according to the United Nations Economic and Social Life, in green economy, water is well protected, valued, and paid for in both maintaining biodiversity, ecosystem services, and in providing healthy water. Another contradiction, honorable judges, is the acceleration on climate change. The oil and gas industry is the single largest contributor to climate change due to its role. From the extraction to the selling of hydrocarbons to the energy market, which they have a strangling grip on. The emissions from hydrocarbon as they rise also increases the amount of heat trapped in the atmosphere, leading to a drastic rise in global temperatures in recent history, which has also resulted in different climate events around the world, according to the UK's Met Office. Mr. Speaker, the effect of climate change on the green economy as compared to the oil and gas industry is like a drop in the bucket, as the green economy are all about promoting low carbon, the use of clean energy, its conservation, and less pollution. In closing, I would like to reiterate that the oil and gas industry and the green economy are contradictory. By the oil and gas industry destroys the environment, while the green economy aims to conserve and protect it. As the contradictions we have seen in terms of health, pollution, the amount of carbon emission, and future potentials. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rambia. And now for the second speaker of the proposition. Thank you very much, Ms. Randial. And now for the second speaker for the proposition, the Particle Unit Group, is Carlita Williams. Carlita, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker, erudite judges, fellow members of the proposition, learned members of the opposition, attentive viewers, patient timekeeper, a pleasant afternoon to all. I, Carlita Williams, rise as the second speaker of the proposition to continue our team's steadfast argument in support of the move which reads, and I quote, Guyana's oil and gas industry and green economy are not contradictory, end of quote. Insightful members of the opposition, please allow me to furnish you with factual information that will place all your doubts surrounding this issue to rest. Mr. Speaker, Guyana's leaders are so meticulous when it comes to preserving our natural environment that they never allow our fledgling oil wealth to block their vision of a green economy. Mr. Speaker, according to an article titled Guyana's Role in the Emerging Green Energy Transition by Arthur Deakin, co-director of American Market Intelligence Energy Practice, dated the 26th of August 2021, and I quote, 87% of Guyana's land is covered by forests and has a deforestation rate below 0.05%, end of quote. Learned opposition, you're probably asking yourself, how is this beneficial to Guyana? Allow me to continue. Further down in the above mentioned article, it was said, and I quote, fully grown trees observe about a ton of CO2 every 100 years, end of quote. Piggybacking on our 87% forested land with 0.05 deforestation rate, would you not agree that Guyana is poised to sustainably run our oil and gas industry without infringing upon our green economy agenda? Esteemed opposition, according to Guyana Energy Brief delivered by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali 2022, with specific focus on the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030 and Guyana's oil wealth, and I quote, the majority of Guyana's oil and gas will be sold in the global marketplace. The government believes that this market needs to develop an alignment with the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, specifically to stabilize global temperature increases at less than 1.5 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial level. As a result, most of Guyana's oil and gas will serve global demand, end of quote. Intelligent adjudicators, the evidence is overwhelming to support Guyana's oil and gas industry, poised to complement our green economy. According to an article published in ExxonMobil's role, taking action on climate change, dated the 4th of October 2021, and I quote, we are committed to providing affordable energy to support human progress while advancing effective solutions to address climate change, end of quote. Further insightful opposition, in order to achieve the above objective, ExxonMobil plans to take the following course of action, and I quote, reducing emissions in its operations through avoidance and improving energy efficiencies, providing products to help customers reduce their emissions, by developing and deploying scalable technologies to help decarbonize highest emitting sectors, and proactively engaging on climate-related policy, end of quote. Worthy opposition, we are not negating the fact that, like every other venture, the oil and gas industry has its pros and cons. However, what we are saying is that Guyana has a way of allowing oil and gas to complement our green agenda. For this worthy opponents, the government must be commended. To put things into perspective, I will leave you with this quote. The greatest single element in all perspective, past, present, and the future, is the man willing to take a chance. Everett Lee, the Goiler. I thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Carletta. And now for the second speaker for the opposition, Mr. Thakur Singh, opposition leader.
A pleasant afternoon to our respected judges, misinformed proponent, colleagues, and viewers. I, Thakur Singh, as the second opposing speaker, take this opportunity to elaborate our view and say that Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are contradictory. To back up that statement, I continue saying that the oil and gas industry is all about unsustainable development, while the green economy aims to develop the country sustainably. Mr. Speaker, according to the United Nations Environment Program, and I quote, the green economy provides a macroeconomic approach to sustainable development with a central focus on investment, employment, and skills, end of quote. To become a green economy means that all aspects of environmentally friendly products, from fashion to infrastructure to the movement as a whole, are items or activities that won't harm the environment, with a sustainable economic goal means that the country involved in sustainable development that guarantees an increasing gross domestic product, which allow more jobs to be created and workers are likely to get a better pay raise, which leading to a better standard of living. If the gross domestic product is increasing steadily, people will pay more tax simply because they're earning and spending more. This means more money for the government, on the public services. The government can spend on schools, infrastructure, and other healthcare, which would benefit the citizens. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, oil and gas industry brings nothing to the table but tainted money because the current progress is at the expense of future generations. In last years, we may face several disasters such as earthquake, oil spills, and other. Some may debate that they have measures set out to conquer these disasters, but I may emphasize that if people's health and safety comes first. According to data from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and I quote, there were 137 oil spills in 2018, about 11 per month in the U.S. alone. I don't think Guyana has such a huge amount of money in its budget to cover the expense for 11 oil spills a month, much less a year. Look at our neighboring country, Venezuela. There were constant oil spills between 2020 and 2021, which have caused grave damage to the environment. Incidents like these will kill life form on the seafloor and our mangrove, which protect us from rising sea levels. We all know that without those mangroves, Guyana coastline would be heavily impacted economically and environmentally, like it's already noted by Kaichon newspaper, November 2021, that Georgetown, among 9 other cities, forecast to be underwater by 2030. End of quote. Do you think it is feasible to move the country capital to another location with its rapid development? No. Ghana's government will be spending billions of dollars just to clean up the damages caused to the populated coastline, which can be spent otherwise on the green economy and the lives of the citizens. These unsustainable developments in the oil and gas industry not only affect us as a country, but the world as a whole. There will be increasing global warming, desertification, soil loss, and extinction of species and population. To conclude my argument, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to reiterate that the oil and gas industry is all about unsustainable development, while the green economy aims to develop the country sustainably, as the environmental and economic effect shows in my argument earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Shakur from the Berbice Development Youth Group. And now, for the third speaker of the proposition, the Bartington Youth Group, we have Ms. Shakilia Murray. Ms. Murray, the floor.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed judges, patient timekeeper, special invitees, member of the opposition, fellow colleagues of the proposition, online viewers, good afternoon to you all. I, Shakilia Murray, stand here as my team's final speaker to cement our argument on the route that reads, and I quote, Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory, end quote. I'll be looking at this from a perspective that focuses on the measures in place to protect the green economy from any excessive environmental effects of the oil and gas industry. Attentive viewers, allow me to bring to light the Environmental Protection Act of 1996, which is, and I quote, an act that provides for the management, conservation, protection, and improvement of the environment, the prevention or control of pollution, the assessment of the economic impact on the environment, the sustainable use of natural resources, and matters incidental thereto or concerned with, end of quote. These laws under the act mentioned above are commissioned to protect the environment from any potential or excessive degradation. Large members of the opposition, I'd
now like to bring into focus Section 11.4 of the above-mentioned Act, which in summary states that an environmental impact assessment should be carried out by an individual who is independent, qualified, and experienced, and they must be able to identify all the indirect the direct and indirect effects of the new project on the environment. For those of you who may be wondering, what is an environmental impact assessment? Let me help you with that. The Cambridge Dictionary defines an environmental impact assessment as, and I quote, a study of the possible effects on the environment of a new project, end quote. Respectful judges, with all that was mentioned, permit me to say that the two ventures are not contradictory, but Guyana has initiatives in place to mitigate or, in other instances, totally alleviate any adverse outcome of the oil and gas industry on the green economy. Keen viewers, the second point to solidify my perspective is based on the oil flaring incident which involved ExxonMobil back in September last. According to an article by Guyana Chronicle dated the 4th of September 2021, which states, and I quote, Executive Director of the EPA, Kemraj Parsram, has said that the agency has received approximately $400 million in flaring fees from U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil. End of quote. The article further states that according to an amendment of the environmental permit for Liza Phase 1, an install fee came into play because of the increased flaring activity being done at the least testing operations. Further, insightful judges, the above-mentioned article proceeds to indicate that, and I quote, Parsram said that the EPA is working in partnership with the operator to ensure routine flaring, end of quote. Keeping this in mind, this brings into view that there are ongoing initiatives being implemented to work towards the mitigation of oil flaring. Members of the opposition, this very case goes to show that in no way or form is any excessive environmental degradation left unpunished. Keep in mind that we, the proposition, are not claiming that there is no harm to the green economy by the oil and gas industry, but more so, we are saying that when the chance taken to development, Guyana has taken the risk and also initiated policies to mitigate any excessive effects that may arise from the oil and gas industry. Without further ado, I take my conclusion. Thank you.
And thank you very, very much, Ms. Murray from the Bartic Youth Group. And now for the third speaker of the opposition, Mr. Laltus Subin from the Berbice Development Youth Group. Mr. Subin, you're on.
Good afternoon all. I, Laltus Subin, as the third opposing speaker, aims to bring finality to the arguments discussed by my colleagues. To begin, let me reiterate our position in Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are contradictory. I will convince you of this by presenting our final argument that the oil and gas industry is a high-risk, short-term, and increasingly unpopular investment, whereas the green economy is an increasingly popular long-term goal. The oil and gas industry is prone to disasters of epic proportions, from oil spills to explosions and fires that can cost billions of dollars. As the British petroleum spill 2010 costed some 6 to 1.6 billion United States dollars. So no matter the preparedness and caution of the industry and the rigid regulations that are in place, when there is a disaster, it will be detrimental to the environment. Maybe not an extinction level event, but enough to cripple an already decimated environment. So it will be detrimental to the environment, but maybe not caused by these fossil fuels. Some of you might say that the oil and gas industry will provide the necessary funds to fix this and maintain the green economy status. But the more profits there are means more oil and gas is being extracted, which means that the emissions from burning them will also increase. It will reach a point in which our rainforests will no longer be able to to zero out emissions and the net emissions will rise above zero, putting to rest that dream of a green economy and an oil and gas industry. So I say to the proposition, arise from your fantasy, join us in reality and listen to me. No, no, no. The argument for more jobs and more money is not justified, as it results in a contradiction of the goal. Well, that is until all the oil and gas has been extracted, and as it is a finite resource, and we're all 6 feet under in a desolate wasteland. Even so, you're asking us to make a gamble with our economy and future in an industry whose future itself is uncertain. As we've seen in the past few years, the oil and gas industry is becoming more and more unpopular due to its role in climate change and environmental degradation. As such, countries like Denmark, Luxembourg, and Singapore are making the switch to green and renewable energy sources, which all have net zero carbon emissions and preserve the life of our planet for generations to come while developing economies sustainable. That is, they are promoting a green economy only. Mr. Speaker, it is an either or a decision, not an. To conclude, I say having both is like being a person who sells drugs to others while saying it's bad. This is an indecisive drug pusher mentality that will leave us divided as ever. However, we must be decisive in our resolve for our future's sake and not be tricked by fanatics who are dreaming of a la-la-land fantasy. Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are contradictory. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Lalta. And there you have it. Our 6 debaters coming from the Particle Youth Group and the Berbice Development Youth Group. Today's move, Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory. We are giving our teams a 5-minute break so that they can start preparing their rebuttal. And I will invite our Public Relations Officer, Mr. Yannick December, to talk about the rules of our competition.
Of only 3 members, all from the same youth group. Failure to comply will result in the disqualification of the team. Once a team has started the competition, no member shall be replaced. The first speaker will be the first speaker of the proposition, followed by the first speaker of the opposition, and shall alternate in this order. The time allotted for each speaker are as follows. First speaker, 5 minutes. Second speaker, 4 minutes. Third speaker, 4 minutes. And for the rebuttal, 5 minutes. The rebuttal will be done by the first speaker on each team, in the order of opposing, then proposing. No new arguments or material shall be introduced into the rebuttal. 10 points will be deducted for introduction of new arguments. A bell will be rung first to indicate that the speaker should commence. The second bell will indicate that 1 minute is remaining, and there will be a final bell when the time has elapsed. 5 points will be deducted from each speaker who does not adhere to the allotted time. In the event of technical difficulties, a speaker may be allotted additional time. This is at the discretion of the judges. Speakers may refer to notes, but should not read them. 5 points will be deducted from any speaker who reads a prepared speech. Points will be awarded for reasoning and logic, originality, relevance, mechanics, articulation, attitude to opponent, development of argument, and cohesion. And finally, the judges' decisions are final. Those are your rules for this year's Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. Best of luck to our participants. Mr. Speaker.
Public Relations Officer, of the National Assembly. Yesterday, the two groups participating in this development youth group, the opposition and the proposition being the Bartical Youth Group. For the Berbice Development Youth Group, the first speaker was Miss Chetwanti Randia, and the first speaker for the proposition, the Bartical Youth Group, that first speaker was Shania Straker. The second speaker for the proposition, the Bartical Youth Group, was Miss Carlita Williams, and the second speaker for the Berbice Development Youth Group was Mr. Thakur Singh. The third speaker for Bartical Youth Group was Ms. Shakalia Murray, and the third speaker for the opposition, Berbice Development Youth Group, Mr. Lalta Subrin. Our debaters are now tabulating and are going to be back with us shortly. They're preparing their rebuttals to all of the wonderful arguments presented today on both sides of the moot. As we wait on our debaters to come back, I want to remind you of our esteemed judges for today. We have Judge Monet Garnet Christopher, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of the Parliament. She holds a degree in economics. She has been a Toastmaster and she has judged many competitions before. Our second judge is popular personality, Mr. Nias Suban, himself a graduate from the University of Guyana Natural Sciences, been in radio and television for 30 years, hosting the popular Guyana Today show. Currently, Nias is the CEO of NCN. And our chief judge this afternoon is Ms. Indrani Chandrapal. And also elected president of the Inter-American Commission on Women from 2001 to 2003, also 2 terms as Minister of Human Services and Social Security. So I just heard a bell saying that the break is up, and now for the rebuttals. We will start with the opposition, the Berbice Youth Development Group, and Paula Manti Ramdia to make her rebuttal. Ms. Ramdia, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished judges, as I stand before you again. The first speaker informed that the economic benefits gained from the oil and gas industry will be enough to offset environmental degradation, natural disasters, and also maintain sustainability of a green economy. But, Mr. Speaker, as my second and my third speaker said, it will never be enough. You cannot put a price to nature. It's not ours to sell. What is the sense of having something that you cannot share with your children? Mr. Speaker, the second speaker of the proposition also mentioned that the cheap energy is a goal, but cheap for who? Let me tell you again, not for our children, but not for our children, not for now. And not for our children and the environment that we live in. Is that cheap? Is the prosperity of our children not worth more? She also expressed their confidence on sustainable development against environmental degradation. But my third speaker said, there can never be enough. The third speaker also implied her beliefs that environment damage can be paid off. Let her listen to this. We will never have enough enough money to pay for the damages caused. She also said about plans for those damages, but she didn't mention what plans. So, Mr. Speaker, as I stand here again, the oil and gas industry and the green economy are indeed contradictory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ramdiel. And now for the rebuttal from the proposition, the party youth group is Shania Straker. Shania, the floor is yours.
Honorable judges, patient timekeeper, astute members of the opposition, Mr. Speaker, attentive audience, I, Shania Straker, rise again to refute the fallacious claims being peddled by my worthy opposition. Fourth Speaker, oil spills in water leads to water pollution. As I said, Guyana is the leading economy in the Caribbean, and this is because the oil and gas industry has brought in a lot of revenue, so we are well capable to deal with such things. Remember, as my second speaker said, there are pros and cons in the oil and gas industry. But more so, she said, the government is more than able to manage this. Secondly, our speaker said, the use of natural resources to produce more jobs. Isn't the oil and gas a natural resource? Have I not said that it will produce more? It has proven to produce more jobs, 1,200 jobs, 200 of them being women. Single largest contributor to climate change, as she said, as my second speaker said, fully grown trees absorb about a ton of CO2. Not to forgetting, 80% of our land is forested and 0.5% of deforestation. We are well capable of absorbing carbon dioxide. We have the amount of trees that is well capable of absorbing this amount of carbon dioxide. Third speaker, second speaker, the government will spend money on school from the revenue gained from the green economy. But as I said, the oil and gas industry will bring in money. This said money will be used in schools to help boost education systems. Secondly, the oil and gas industry brings nothing to the table, as he said. Did I not say job creation? Did I not say this has put us as the number one in economy in Latin America? 1,200 new jobs. And I repeat, and I reintegrate, 200 of them being women. The third speaker said, and I quote, the oil and gas sector will cripple an already decimated environment. My speaker, how can an oil and gas industry cripple an already decimated environment when the environment is estimated to have 87.5% forests and 0.5% of non-deforestation? Guyana is well able to manage the oil and gas sector while creating an amazing green economy. Thank you.
Particular and the Berbice Development Youth Group, the two groups coming from far apart geographically, and the mood was Guyana's oil and gas industry and the green economy are not contradictory. We are now awaiting our judges to summarize their totals and to present us with the winners for this afternoon's debate. We started our debate last Friday, the second National Speakers Youth Debating Competition, last Friday. We have 16 teams once again, with the particular youth group participating for the first time. And since Friday, we've noticed a lot of activities on our social media pages with respect to this second Speakers National Youth Meeting competition. And the teams are bringing up their supporters, and the other teams are watching. So we have Miss Colette Alt cheering on Partika, saying, "Way to go, Partika," and Dimple Bastille saying, "What an interesting move." Andy Prasad says, "Way to go, Team Berbice." Team William commending the competency of our judges. Alisa Holmes cheering on Bartika, "All the best, Bartika." Anjali Ramlochan loves the startup for this debating competition. Anjali Ramlochan gives her congratulations to teams. And Rose Kirut, again, she, like Anjali, congratulates both teams. Our judges, just to remind you, as they are tabulating the scores and
We are a peaceful people.
using
Struggle is we struggle.
the winners this afternoon, our judges are Ms. Garnet Christopher, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of the Parliament's Office. Garnet started her career at Queen's College as an economics teacher, and then on to Parliament, where she now is Chief Administrative Officer. She holds a master's degree in business administration and a bachelor's degree in economics. She also the Toastmasters, the Pacific Toastmaster Club, and has participated and adjudicated in our competition of 2021. Our next judge is just Mia Suhan, popular personality, hosting the iconic Guyana morning show for 10 years, in the field of theatre, filmmaking, as an actor, director, producer, and writer. Currently, he's a cultural activist while still performing his duties at NCM. And he has holds a degree in natural sciences from the University of Guyana. And our chief judge this afternoon is Ms. Indrani Chandrapal, 10 years serving as the Minister of Human Services and Social Security, who served in the Ministry of Housing. She worked on many parliamentary committees during her 27 years as a member of Parliament. During that time, she was elected in 2021 to serve as president of the Inter-American Commission of Human. Chandrapal is our chief judge today. This is the second Speakers National Debating Competition, and we have 16 teams participating. Last year, we saw the Commonwealth group emerging as the winner, and who is it going this year? Already this year, we have one of our teams who were knocked out in the first round. The first round last year, that is the Gas Talent Management Group. They want to do so they are advancing. Teams are tracking what's happening on social media so we become even more competitive as we move into different rounds of this competition. How are our judges coming along?
We're good. We're ready.
And the judges are ready. Let me call on Ms. Monet Garner Christopher to give some remarks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I wish to commend both sides for their presentations. I wish to touch a little on relevance this afternoon, not too long. In terms of relevance, when you're developing your points, your arguments must be connected, they must be linked. And so this afternoon, my expectations were met in this regard. Both teams had really, really strong arguments this afternoon, but however, I think you need to work on your pace. Please do not rush the presentations. Your deliveries were good, but the pace at which you spoke this afternoon, it was too much, so we weren't able to understand your presentations as a whole. But in moving forward, I want to advise that you pay keen attention to that aspect. Ensure that you be yourself, be original in the way you speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Warren Christopher. And now Judge Mia Supan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, fellow judges and participants and those following us. Again, very commendable to see young people so passionately involved in this competition. I saw the passion, I saw hard work, I saw a lot of research that went into the various presentations. For me, I share what my colleague Judge said, but I believe there needs to be a little bit more examination of the actual topic and how those topics should be approached for me in a more definitive and concise manner. And but I saw some shades of that, but from a more holistic position. I would like to see some more of that, and also less reading. And you saw the impact of that, or the negative impact of that, when I don't know if the scroll kept up with the pace that they were reading at. So we saw some stumbles along the way. But aside from that, good work, and I want to continue to encourage them to aspire to the next level, and wish both teams all the best in the competition. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to thank both teams for the work that they have put in ensuring that the research was done. They were able to understand the topic. However, I want to endorse the points that were raised by my two colleague judges who spoke before with respect to reading. We've seen that. And we've also seen the pace at which some of our participants were making their presentation. I believe we have to learn how to make our presentation and behave, in the usual scheme of things, not to rush the presentation because you can lose the content of what was being said. So we wish all the participants in future for them to work a little harder, and hopefully those who may not have been able to win this time, perhaps next time around they will do even better. So the score that we have for today is a proposition. They would have won the debate, and 263, which is our average. The opposition is 237 is the average. And in terms of the best debater, it's 2 against 1. Two judges voted for Carlita Williams. We thought that her presentation was well, she articulated well. I think the sum total of everything was positive in that regard. And therefore, we think she's the best debater for today. So we want to thank the two teams and we wish them all the best.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge. Congratulations to the particle youth group entering the competition and moving on to the quarterfinals. So our guests, thank you very, very much. Our hardworking team hardworking, thank you. And to the persons who assisted, the parents, the colleagues, the two groups in their presentations today, thank you very much for standing by our young people. Thank you to the media for covering. Thank you to Globespan for carrying this debate also. And we'll see you next Tuesday. From all of us here at the Speakers National Youth Debating Competition, have a happy Easter. Happy Easter to all of you and your families. Thank you very much. See you on